Good afternoon, students.
Good afternoon, teacher.
How are you today?
Fine, thanks, and you?
I am also fine. I am glad to see you. Thank you. Take your seats. Students, look around and can you see any timekeeping devices? My watch. And do you know when was it invented? A clock, a watch? No. Yes? Okay, today we'll talk about history of timekeeping devices. So open your copybooks. Write down today's day. The theme of the lesson is the history of timekeeping devices. So now please look at the learning objectives. Look through, please. Students, first of all, learn the new vocabulary. So, listen and repeat.
Burn. Cast. Divide. Existence. Fill. Flow. Lit. Obelisk. Oil lamp. Passing. Practice. Shadow. Stick. Sundial. Water clock.
Now please, you read, listen, then check. Okay?
Burn. Cast. Divide. Existence. Fill.
Flow.
Flow. Obelisk.
Next.
Oil lamp.
Passing. Practice.
Shadow.
Sundial.
Okay. On page 49, you can see the history of timekeeping devices. And you see that some words are missing. You should fill the gaps. So, work individual. Check each other. Students, now watch the video, listen and check.
Of timekeeping devices. Let's look at some interesting timekeeping devices used throughout history. Sundials are the earliest known timekeeping devices, used from at least 3,500 BCE. They consisted of a flat disc made from stone or wood with markings on it and a stick on top. The shadow cast by the stick in the light of the sun could tell observers what part of the day it was. Obelisks, like sundials, used the shadow created by the sun to divide the day into parts, but in this case, the stick was a monument. The practice dates back to ancient Egypt, but has not been forgotten. The shadow cast by Taipei 101, Taiwan, the also called clepsydras, have been in existence since at least 1500 BCE. They used oil lamp clocks were glass containers filled with oil. A wick was placed in the oil and lit. As the wick burned and the oil was used up, markings on the side of the container could be used to indicate how much time had passed. Oil lamps were at the peak of their popularity in the 18th century and are no longer used today. Have you ever seen any of these devices? How else can we measure time?
Listen to two students talking about ancient timekeeping devices, and after listening, answer the questions. First question, what is the boys' opinion of sundials? Second question, what do they both agree on? So, let's listen.
Hi Ben, have you started Professor Hopkins' assignment yet? Did you choose to write about sundials or water clocks?
Water clocks, of course. What is there to say about sundials? They're so simplistic.
I don't agree. I chose sundials because they've got such an interesting history. They were the first timekeeping device ever invented. And although they seem simple to us now, they were actually quite remarkable 3,500 years ago. I find it fascinating that ancient people even thought to measure time by tracking the movement of the sun.
I can't argue with that. It was an inspirational idea to use the sun's passage across the sky to divide the day into parts. I suppose I always compare ancient timekeeping devices to the way we measure time today, so naturally a sundial looks primitive next to a digital watch. But I suppose measuring time had a different meaning back then. I mean, the concept of minutes and seconds didn't even exist.
Right. It was a different world, and although sundials seem outdated today, they were the first step on our path to atomic clocks and coordinated universal time.
Question, what is the boys' opinion of sundials? Who wants to answer? Okay, Ahmed?
The boy thinks that sundials are too simplistic and there is little to say about them.
Okay, thank you. You're correct. Okay, you're right. Next question, what do they both agree? Rajan, do you want?
The speakers agree that's fact ancient people thought to measure time by the movement of the sun was fiction.
Thank you very much. Okay, students, now you work in groups. First group, second group, and third group. Yeah, you should prepare a presentation about timekeeping, about the history of timekeeping devices. Yeah, you can present the information which you have just learned and new one you can take from internet. Yes. Okay, let's start. You can take this. You can take notebooks. Take it.
Timekeeping device. With the book of code have all the small devices we can find. Devices. We measure the devices.
Time is up. Let's start our presentation. Your presentations will be assessed according to this descriptor. First, uses new vocabulary, 2 points. Gives new information, 2 points. Speaks grammatical correct, 2 points. And speaks fluently, 2 points. Okay, let's start. First group.
The topic of our presentation is sundial. Sundial is the earliest type of timekeeping device. To begin with, in Introduction. Humanity in the course of its development come up with many inventions, and for the measurement of time was invented a clock. Until today was invented, there have been many analogues of watches, from sundial to electronic. And now we will tell you about the first clock history, about sundial.
So firstly, what is a sundial? A sundial is a horological device that tells the time of day when here there is sunlight by the apparent position of the sun in the sky. Sun appears to move across the sky. The shadow aligns with different hour lines, which are marked on the dial to indicate the time of day.
Next, I want to tell the history sundial. Before clocks were invented, people generally relied on the passage of the sun through the sky to tell time. One of the most important early devices for telling time was the sundial.
The first device for indicating the time of day was probably the gnome, dating from about 3500 BCE. It consisted of a vertical stick on pillar and the length of the shadow. It can give an indication of the time of day. And people of Kash created sundials, those geometry.
Next, here we can see types of sundials. For example,
Equatorial sundials, equatorial bow sundial, vertical sundial, cylindrical sundial, polar sundial, horizontal sundial, and scarf.
Types of number one is fixed position sundial. The fixed position sundials, the most commonly observed sundials, are those in which the shadow casting style is fixed in position and originates with the Earth's rationally axis.
And next tip, this Ottoman style sundial. Ottoman style sundial with Folget Norman and a compass. The Bank Palace Museum, Lebanon.
In conclusion, at all times these watches were impressibly and were used anywhere. But these days we don't see sundial because we invented a more comfortable watch.
And we can assert that watch has been improved to the ideal, and there is nothing to change there, such as wristwatch, hand watch, and electronic. After all, modern watches fulfill their functions.
Our presentation is finished. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. And translation, your descriptor, show me the descriptor. Have they used new vocabulary? Two. Yes, 2 points. Yes, okay. Have they give new information? Two points. Okay. Have they spoken grammatical correct? Two points. And have they speak fluently? Two? Yes, of course. Thank you. Sit down, please.
Our topic today is the history of timekeeping devices. We would like to present about obelisks. Obelisks is a tall, four-sided, narrow tapering monument which ends in a pyramid-like shape or pyramidation at the top. Originally, they were called Tikhinu by their builders, the ancient Egyptians. The Greeks who saw them used the Greek term obeliscus to describe them, and this word passed into Latin and ultimately English. Ancient obelisks are monolithic, that is, they consist of a single stone. Next one is ancient obelisks. Obelisks were prominent in the architecture of the Ancient Egyptians and played a vital role in their religion, placing them in pairs at the entrance of the temples. The word obelisk, as used in English today, is of Greek rather than Egyptian origin because Herodotus, the Greek traveler, was one of the first classical writers to describe the objects. For Egyptians, the obelisk was a reverential monument commemorating the dead, representing their kings, and honoring their gods. These monuments were representational in both structure and arrangement, serving as monuments with a complex structure of understanding. In the first photo, the obelisks of Buenos Aires, and second, the Washington Monument in Washington. And third is the National Monument in Jakarta. A number of ancient Egyptian obelisks are known to have survived, like the unfinished obelisks, found partly held from its quality at Aswan. These obelisks are now dispersed around the world, and fewer than half of them remain in Egypt. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, let's assess second group. Uses new vocabulary. 2 points. Yes. Okay. Gives new information. Of course. Yes. Of course. Speaks grammatical correct. 2 points. And speaks fluently. Arjan.
1 point.
2 points. And then Shabuta. Maybe 1 point. Yeah. 1 point. Okay. 7 points and 8 points. Thank you very much.
We would like to present water clocks. Water clocks, also called spheres, have been in existence since of at least 500 BCE. They use the flow of water to measure the passing of time. They were originally stone and were used by the ancient Egyptians and Babylonians. Next.
Water clocks are one of the oldest time measuring instruments. Water record of the world in both India and China. Also have early evidence and the water clocks, but the earliest dates are less certain. Next.
Some authors, however, claim that water clocks appeared in China as early as 4000 BC.
There are 2 types of water clocks, inflow and outflow. In outflow, water clocks, a container is filled with water, and the water is drained slowly and evenly out of the container. The container has markings that are used to show the passage of time. As our water leaves and the container, as overseers can see where the water is level with the lines and tell how much the time has passed.
We have finished it. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So let's assess. Okay. Use new vocabulary. Uses new vocabulary. 2 points. 2 points. Okay. Yeah, obviously. Gives new information. 2 points. Speaks grammatical correct. 2 points. And the last speaks fluently. 2 points.
Nazım and Diana 2 points.
Nazım 2 points. Number 2 points. And then Diana and Ponish 1 point. 1 point. Okay. 7 points, 8 points, 7 points, and 8 points. Thank you very much. I thank you for today's lesson and your assessment. I'll need 9 points, 9 points, okay, 7 points, 9 points, 7 points, 9 points, 7 points, and 8 points. Thank you very much. Our lesson is over. Goodbye.
Goodbye.